Brian, you're a quarter of the way through the season now. How do you feel about how the progression's gone for you?
Defense, I feel decent. You know, I feel like we've made some strides. We got to continue to make more strides. We're certainly not fully where we want to be yet, but I feel like we're accomplishing some of the things that we thought we needed to do in order to be a better defense, and we're on the way, but we're still growing for sure.
What stands out when you talk about strides?
Well, I think we've done a better job of being a more physical defense, playing better versus the run overall, and where last year we didn't have much defense when things kind of went south on us. I think this year we've got enough going that we can rally, come back, and obviously be pretty resilient. So I like those things.
You got one or two things at the top of the list of things that will take this defense to that next level or get past that progression?
Yeah, I probably mentioned it before in here. I still think there's just from a fundamental standpoint, sometimes a technical standpoint, just really continuing to be more on point with some of the things that we're trying to do. We're certainly better in those areas, but if you look at some of the, we probably give up too many bigger plays yet, even for me, in terms of particularly in the pass game. But it's just small details that are a fine line between success and failure sometimes. So there's things that we've just through. I think some of that comes through experience, which we're still getting, we're still gaining, and as guys improve, I'm confident that stuff will shore itself up as well.
A couple of your guys who were just in here, when they talked about week one to now, it seemed like confidence was a big thing that they feel like has improved the most. Have you seen that, and also how important has that been for the progression?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I feel like our players can realize again kind of where it was, where it is. So I think that lends itself to being confident, and then particularly like that the West Virginia game where we did get down right away and fought our way back and ended up battling through and winning a game like that on the road. I think that did wonders for us, and obviously we had to follow it up again the next week, and then we just continue to build off that a little bit. So I definitely do feel like guys are confident. I feel like they feel like they've worked hard and sort of earned the opportunities that they're getting right now, and we're trying to cash in on them.
You've talked a lot about depth over the last few months. Do you feel like this is the time of season when it starts to show up? You got 4 weeks until the bye week, and then after that it's another kind of
yeah. Well, obviously we're going to continue to need that depth, and so we continue. I think we played 23 different guys last week and got in the game. So I think we're continuing to build that depth and the quality depth. So. We play 8 conference games here coming up versus a lot of good teams. We're going to need some of that because we'd like to think we're going to stay perfectly healthy all the way through, but odds are something probably won't. So you've got to continue to develop those next players. They've got to get some meaningful reps and some meaningful playing time so that if and when that number's called in a more significant way, they're ready to respond. They know they can do it.
What are your thoughts on Xavier Hutchinson, really good receiver at some points?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I think he was pretty good last year and pretty good this year. And they certainly are finding ways to target him in certain situations. So we've got to have our awareness of that, and I think we've got a pretty good plan to try to put the clamps on him a little bit if we can. But I guess that remains to be seen. He's pretty good. He's really acrobatic and making difficult catches, and which. That kind of makes him stand out in my mind. I've seen him have a few of those this year. It's like, wow, that's a really good catch. So high degree of difficulty kind of stuff. So we gotta be aware and can't let that guy get away from us for sure.
Outside of Xavier, it's a lot of new faces on that offense. Is it similar to what you saw from them last year? Is it different? I guess walk us through kind of what's new.
Yeah, they're still good. I know they've lost some kind of marquee players off of that deal, but they're not where they're at without having depth also. So they've guys have filled in there nicely for them, and they do a lot of similar things that they did last year. Not quite the same, the tight ends and things that they had last year. They could really do some unique things with those players. I don't know that they're doing all the same kind of deals, but they are still in a lot of ways very similar and a handful.
Penalties were a big issue on Saturday. Just what did you see, and how do you minimize the impact of them going forward?
Yeah, they were, kind of detrimental to us, in some ways. The couple of those pass interference ones, they are what they are. Whether I like them or not, they are. So they're called that way. That's the way it is, and you got to move past that. Some of the other ones that were a 3rd and 21 personal foul when we had stopped them and kind of had them backed up. Those are killers because you end up. They didn't score on that drive, but they end up taking like 8-9 more snaps, and over the course of the game that can wear you out a little bit. So we just got to be smarter about those things, and you want all the aggression with all the intelligence at the same time, just good decision making. So I don't want to take away from our aggressive way that we want to play and guys play and their desire. We can't slow guys down. We need to keep speeding them up. But at the same point, then we just need to recognize, like anybody, when the situations are what they are, there's a time to, we just got to make good decisions when good decisions need to be made.
What if your first impression's been on Hunter Deckers so far? What's your plan of attack to slow him down?
The
Quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback. Yeah, he's good. He's a good manager. He makes good decisions. He doesn't try to force the ball and throw a game. I think he knows he's got a good handle on what they're doing. He's probably not the runner that maybe some other guys have been that we faced. So, but that doesn't mean that he can't or won't. So I think he's a really good player that's kind of starting to blossom and come into his own here, and probably gaining more confidence as we go. But again, like we always try to do is try not to do the same things all the time, so that a guy can just lock in and know what to do all the time. So we try to create some indecision there with him and hopefully force him into a bad decision or two. He's a pretty good player, and like I said, I know they had a good quarterback last year, but we also saw him last year. He played pretty well against us last year too. So I know he's very capable.
Hey Brian, you guys had, I think it was 20 players play at least 20 snaps. Have you ever had that much from the defenses?
Yeah, I know. We had 6 linebackers play over 20 snaps for sure. So probably not. We're trying to find ways to make that happen in some respects. So, and to their credit, they're most of those guys they're everybody like to play every snap, but I think realistically, guys know they probably can't play every snap, and so we're I think we're going along in a good way there, and situations change game to game, so he can't always promise that that's the way it's going to be all the time, but at least for that game, it worked out that way, and so I'm happy that there's a lot of guys that are hungry to contribute and are getting a chance to contribute for sure.
Andy said a couple weeks ago, I think, that his first job in coaching was defensive backs maybe, and that helped him kind of see both sides of it as he progressed as an offensive play caller, especially. How much do you see of that in him, and what is your opinion of how he's
with Andy?
Yeah,
well, I actually coached when he was a player. I coached against him. He was at center at UW River Falls when I was at Whitewater. Sure. So there's some short little guy out there, scrappy dude, and all that kind of stuff. But lo and behold, then he kind of really caught our eye when he was the offensive coordinator at River Falls, and we played in the same league at Whitewater, and some of the innovation in play calling and things like that. So when we had a chance to hire an offensive coordinator there, then I encouraged Coach Lapple. I said, hey, this guy was really good. So and then I've just seen him keep developing, and all the things that we're doing now, and he's got a pretty innovative mind, and I'm happy for it.
How much has that development and growth happened? Did he always have that? Did you see that early?
Well, I'm sure but not, were we running the offense we're running now back in 2007 or 8 or 9? No. I've coached with him now for a lot of years, and 10 years, I think. And so I can just kind of see where, he's got a really good mind for things, and I can just, trace his growth in that area as well. And like I said, I don't think I really had anything to do with it or have anything to do with it. I'm happy that he's doing what he's doing right now.
Has he ever thrown anything out that you said, whoa, surprised you, whether practice or a game or anything?
Yeah, he's a pretty good idea guy, so he probably throws a lot of things out there that I go whoa to. But I also know that he does have a good mind for that, and really kind of sees things sometimes that I might not even see. So I trust him fully in the things that he says, and you know, and he's kind of gung ho at those things, and he's putting in the time and the work and the effort on those things. So I'm not standing in his way on some of those things. He's a really good innovator.
Anything else, Coach? What are your thoughts on Mello Dawson?
Yeah, he's a good player. Glad he's playing for us. You know, don't hear much from him. Kind of just quietly goes about his business, and he's a good competitor. And like I said, he's really developing his skills and you know, into a really good player. So you know, again, he's still kind of young in his career, but he's played a lot of football, and I think he's growing. And he and Kobe Bryant on the other side, those guys are, you know, they're good players now that are going to be really, really good players going forward here. So I'm kind of excited about what he's doing now, but also excited about the ceiling that he can still get to. Okay.
Thank you, Ryan.